I want to explain something about in a concept of when a couple is together in Lakota, and but what's really important first is that the couple has to really, really understand what nonlinear time is. Okay? That's really important to understand that because some couples can reach this understanding. Um, Sometimes it is um, easier for some couples than others, but the bottom line is it takes a while. Okay? It does take a while. But what we really have to understand is not to see this as a linear thing. And now I'm going to explain what linear and non-linear means first, okay? Because this is really, really important to understand. All right? Okay. So let me explain that. This is going to take a few minutes, and then we'll go into the what I want to talk about. Okay? So this is very important to know first. Linear thinking is when you think everything goes in only one direction, and that the further you go on that path, you think you're getting better, and that everybody behind you is not as good as you. That's the tendency in linear thinking. It is very rare where a person who's way up ahead will turn around and say, "Here, come, I'll help you." It's you do see that, but there's there's something. They're in another process. Yeah, they are in another process, and they're on the hinge of switching to becoming a nonlinear thinker. That's why they're like that. Yeah, but basic gung ho linear thinkers, they think like the further they're on the path, the better they are. Anybody behind them is less than them. They're not good enough. They're not as good as them. That's the general thought. And that creates a duality. Yeah, a duality is when you look at everything in life and you only see two perspectives, yours and that which you don't like, that which you disagree with. And your tendency is to label that as bad and that you're the good one. That's the foundation of duality. Along with this process, people focus only on one emotion and then they become addicted to it to the point where they'll do anything to maintain that emotion, whatever it is. They become an addict to it. And they call the other emotions bad emotions. Stay away from those. I don't want to do anything to even feel that other emotion. Yeah, they don't want to think of bad things in their life that happened that brought those emotions. They try to suppress them, thinking it's going to go away, but it doesn't. The body keeps all that energy until you release it, and you release it by facing it, learning from it, making the most of it, and that's how you transform it into a learning experience. Then it becomes a blessing because you receive knowledge, wisdom, and peace. You're at peace with it. So you can think on it anytime and it doesn't bother you. Yeah? That's how that works. So, nonlinear thinking is, yes, things do go forward, but we can also go backwards. There's nothing wrong with that. For example, after you come to peace with your past, you're walking a healthy road, and as you walk on this healthy road, you slowly are able to comprehend more and more of reality. Now, this does not mean you're better. It just means you can comprehend more. Okay? It doesn't mean you're better. It just means you can comprehend more. Okay? So, in time, it's good to look back in your past again to things you've already learned, and you will see something new because now you can comprehend more of that experience. When you first had that experience, you couldn't see everything, but now you can see more, which means you're going to learn something new. Yeah? Then you come back to the present moment with that knowledge to help yourself and others. You share. Yeah? That is one possibility. You come back to the present moment because, see, when you come to peace with your past, your tendency is to stay in the present moment. That's a natural thing. And that's good because, I should say that's healthy, because the present thought patterns are what create the future. So it's always changing, yeah, because your thoughts are changing. So it's always going to change. But you still have an influence over it. You still have a power over your future. Even though it may alter day by day, you still are influencing it. That's beautiful. So that's one of the benefits of learning from the past. Yeah? Then you can also visualize what you would like your future to be like. And then you take some time in private and act like you're already there. Yeah? And you're enjoying it. Yeah? And it puts a smile on your face, you feel good, these are real emotions. Enjoy them. That process is putting something inside of you that's going to give you inspiration. Then you come back to the present moment again. Now you have something to help you to receive inspiration, to get things done. And it's going to have an influence on your real future. And it will turn out better than you think. So you're learning from the future to help you in the present moment. See? This is nonlinear thinking, nonlinear living, nonlinear learning. This is why we have no word for goodbye in Lakota language, because everything is circular. Yeah? What's really important is that you understand what difficulties are. But when you come to peace with your past, that's where you learn it. Yeah, that's where you learn that difficulties are not a bad thing, and that you can transform them. It's like they're incomplete experiences, and yes, they bring pain and sadness and anger and disappointment and fear and all kinds of things like that. But once you start learning from it and making the most of it, those emotions slowly creep out and peace comes in. They serve their purpose. Now they're out of your body. They won't bother you anymore. You've neutralized it. That's what you've done. Yeah? And that's how you've come to peace with it. So, as you're living your life, and you set a goal for your future, sometimes a difficulty may come out of the blue. Just out of the blue. But you know, when you're healthy, that this is not because of something you did. It's time to learn something. And it may hurt. It may throw you off it may look like it's going to throw you off your path. But as long as you stop and take a look at it, face it, learn from it, make the most of it, you're still on that path. You just stopped, but you're still on that path. And as you learn from this, it's going to move you forward, way in hell up there. It's like you're going to take a big jump. So it actually is getting to your goal faster. But it does require you to really work on it. So that's why healthy people are not afraid of difficulties, even though they scare the hell out of us, they shock us, the first reaction is sometimes is extreme disappointment. We always take time to calm down. Yeah, express the emotion in a constructive way, so you don't hurt anybody, anything, including yourself. Go for a vigorous run. Go for a vigorous swim. Climb trees or really work your body as much as you can. Get that energy out. Go someplace and cry and get angry and it's okay to be scared. You let all of this energy out. Then you bring in your mind. This is how you work with your heart and your mind together. You bring in your mind and you say, okay, I'm still hurting a little bit. I'm still mad. I'm still disappointed. I'm still scared. But now I got to see how I can start learning from this. And maybe you can talk to somebody that you trust, and that they'll help you to calm down too. And they might see something that you don't see, and they can guide you to it. Sometimes that needs to happen. Sometimes you can do it all on your own. Yeah? And then you work through it, and you're like, I'm feeling better now. I'm feeling better. See, you're still on the road. You're just standing, taking a rest, but you're still on the road. Then, before you know it, you're further than you thought. That, my friends, is non-linear. Isn't that wonderful? This is our way. Yeah? That's what this is. This is the human way. Isn't that wonderful? Duality. It is the root of all problems, and it's important to understand it so that you know how to work it. And when you know how to work it, man, your life is going to really improve quality-wise. Yeah? And you're going to see so much beauty around you. It's already there. But when you live this way, you're going to see it more and more. And it's really going to make you feel good. Yeah, that's medicine. And then you understand, more than you ever could before. And when blessings happen to you, you enjoy them even more than you did before. So it's a win-win situation when you do your part of learning from difficulties. Okay? So duality and linear thinking go together. The Lakota star knowledge foundation concepts and non-linear thinking go together. It is really important to understand what non-linear and linear terms mean. In love, true love is non-linear. Yeah, that it can't be measured, and it's not supposed to be measured. And the other thing is that every day we feel different. We're not the same every day. Sometimes we feel more of one thing on one day, and on another day we might feel another thing. So you really can't measure. And it's not supposed to be measured. Love is supposed to be lived, yeah, and it's supposed to be enjoyed and learned from. Because when you go through difficult times in your life and you learn from them and you make the best of them, your ability to love increases because of that. That's why it's important to be at peace with your past. Yeah? Okay. Those are some basic concepts there. Now, sometimes when a couple is together, they start to bond in a way that is really inexplicable. I can't even say that word. It's hard to explain, inexplicable. It's really hard to explain. It's it's it is a concept that where marriage doesn't mean anything. It's it's something more than that. Yeah, and it is a concept where um, they feel like one being with two minds. Yeah, they feel like one being with two minds, and this is what they call Mahasani. Hasani is Waha is skin, and I'm not going to take the whole word apart, but Mahasani means it's like my other skin, yeah. And this is you have to remember this is not about two people completing each other. No, 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 no. In today's unhealthy world, that's what some people think. Yeah, some people think that your partner is supposed to complete you. No, no, no. That's false. That's codependency. No, no. You have to be cool to begin with. You have to be 100%. That means you are at peace with yourself, or you're learning. Yeah, you're learning from difficulty. You know how to do that, and so you're not afraid of it, and you really can enjoy life. Yeah, you do things. Yeah, you do things for your body, so that your mind and your soul and your emotions can connect. Things like that, and so you're doing your best to take care of the four parts of yourself. Yeah, mind, body, heart, and soul. Then you are able to you're starting to become really a healthy individual when you can do this, and you're starting to everything that I talked about on this show. Yeah, you are learning from difficulty to enjoy blessings. This is how you develop intimacy within yourself, so you can share it with somebody. This is how you develop peace, so you can be at peace within yourself, so you can be at peace with the world around you. Now that does not mean you agree. It just means you're at peace with it. Okay, so this is how you become 100%. So when you're this way, you're completing yourself. Yeah, you are completing yourself, and then you attract somebody who's the same way. They're completing themselves too. And when you get together, your relationship is a creation. Yeah, it's not half you and half her. No, it's all of you and all of her, but in a different dimension. The same time, you are still you 100%, and she is too. Do you see what I mean? In Lakota, you can say this is 100 plus 100 equals 100. In math, it doesn't make sense, but in love, it makes perfect sense. And what this means is you're 100%, she's 100%, and when you come together, you make something new that's 100%. I'm not talking about a baby. No, no, no. I'm talking about the relationship. The relationship becomes an extension of each of you, but each of you is putting 100% in it. At the same time, you maintain your individual identity. Yeah, at the same time. This is why it's important to understand what nonlinear means. Because in a nonlinear world, 100 plus 100 can equal 100. Yeah, in a nonlinear world, that makes sense. And love is nonlinear. You cannot measure it. It's not supposed to be measured. Okay? So this has to be understood first, that your relationship is an extension of you and your partner. But each extension is 100% you and 100% your partner. But at the same time, you're still 100% too, to yourself, and she is too. You see what I mean? So you still maintain your individual identity, but you're creating a group identity at the same time. And it's this group identity that is like a new dimension. Yeah, it's a new dimension. And once you start to understand that dimension, now you're entering something called Mahasani. So it's not just two sweethearts, it's more than that. You have to understand what nonlinear means first. I see you have a lot of young Lakota people calling their husbands and wives, they're calling them Mahasani, and they don't really understand what that means. They're just using it because they think it's a term of affection. That's just half right. It is a term of affection, but it means something more. Yeah, it includes this non-linear way of thinking, and this does not come easy. Yeah, you have to get to a point where you can really tap into each other, where you can feel what the other one is feeling. I mean, literally, not just have a good idea. No, I mean, you really can feel what the other one is feeling. Some people are blessed and they can do this early, but most people are not. Yeah. So it takes a while. Some couples, they have to be together 60 years, 70 years before they finally start to understand it. But for some couples, it doesn't take that long. Because you see, non-linear, it doesn't matter when it starts. It doesn't matter how long it lasts. What matters is that you're doing your best to live your life. You're doing your best to learn from your difficulties so you can enjoy blessings. This is nonlinear. So some people can start to grasp this idea of Mahasani earlier than others, but that does not make them better. So you always have to let go of that concept of, oh, we're better than them. Yeah. Oh, we've been together 50 years, so that we're better than them guys. They've only been together 35 years. See, that's linear thinking. That's not the way love works. Yeah? So Mahasani, some people start to understand it before others. And for most people, it takes a long time. Because for most people, see, we're living in a dualistic world today, which means the world today is also linear thinking. And as a result, it's hard for people to understand what nonlinear is. So they have a difficult time. They don't really understand what Mahasani means for a long, long, long time. So this is what happens to some couples when they reach that. And when they reach that, they're done. Yeah, they're with that person for as long as life is. And when one of them dies, yes, it's sad, but at the same time, they're not sad because their Mahasani is always with them, no matter what. So they never remarry. Yeah, because they don't need to. Yeah, they've made a bond that is very, very sacred. This happens all over the world. This is not just a Lakota thing. It's that other cultures don't understand what it is, but they know what it is, but they don't understand it completely. So I know some people will know what I'm saying who are not Lakota. Yeah, this does not happen because you've been together a long time. No, it happens as you start to understand what nonlinear thinking is, and also it does take some time to understand it. Yeah, to begin to understand it. And this Mahasani concept it has a representation, and the representation is an eagle. Because when eagles find each other, they're mates for life. Yeah, and when one dies, the other one lives alone. They're done. Yeah, they don't. I mean, they continue to live. They don't commit suicide or anything. No, 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 no. They continue to live, but they're still living for that person who's not there anymore. Because as far as they're concerned, they're still there. They never really left. When you can understand that, you're starting to understand what Mahasani means. But you have to let go of dualistic tendencies. Yeah? If you believe in good versus evil, you will never understand what Mahasani means, because that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks to understanding that. And it can start at any time. Yeah, you don't have to be, married 20 years. You know what I mean? You don't have to think, oh shit, I have to get married when I'm 25 years old, so by the time I'm 45, I'll understand it. That's not going to happen, because that's linear thinking. Yeah, that's linear thinking. It will not happen like that. But it's a very sacred thing. And I've seen a few couples in the Lakota world this way, just very few. And none of them were Christian. Yeah, none of them were Christian. They had returned to the old ancient way when they understood what it meant. And so when you saw them talking, they talk in Lakota to each other only. They don't talk English. And then they would say, they would call each other Mahasani. Yeah, so because it's not something for everybody. It's something you earn. Yeah, but you have to understand what non-linear living is. Living, thinking. You have to understand what that is. Then you can get a grasp of it. Then you can really tune into that person. And it gets to the point where you feel the same emotion they feel. And it's that they feel that from you too. It's easy to say, yeah, because some people think that, oh yeah, I saw her crying and oh geez, that just made me cry too. No, that's not Mahasani. That's not tapping in. That's you're reacting to that person's crying. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something deeper than that. You know who has a good concept? You know who can understand this probably better than anybody? Are twins. Because they have a form of this. It's not the same thing, but it's a form of it. Yeah, it's similar to Mahasani, but it's more a sibling thing. But twins probably can understand this better than any other group. Yeah, so it's a really beautiful concept. Yeah, it really is a beautiful concept, but it's not something that happens overnight. And when you find it, you know that this is the way it's going to be the rest of your life. There is no divorce because you just know. Yeah? And because you know that no matter what, you're beside each other, no matter what. That's rare. Because in most cases, sometimes people change. But when Mahasani happens, there's no change. And it's a very sacred thing, and it doesn't happen overnight. Yeah? It does not happen overnight. It is something that takes a while. So even if you're a non-linear thinker, it's still going to take you a little while to start to understand it. And that's okay. The most important thing is that you enjoy what you have. Yeah, that you have your honey now. So enjoy her or him. Because that's the foundation. That has to happen before you can have Mahasani. So focus on now. Don't worry about if this person is Mahasani or not. Don't worry about that. That's the future. Yeah? So instead, you focus on what you have now and enjoy him or her. And then you're laying the foundation. You're laying you're laying the foundation for that to happen. Mahasani is not love at first sight. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No, no. Somebody was asking me that one time. They said, no, that's not Mahasani. Yeah, it's a very sacred thing. So, that's one of the beautiful things, yeah, that can happen in a relationship in which, the people just realize, yeah, this is it. I'm done, yeah. And this is, it just blossoms from there. It's like a new understanding. It's like a new way to see the world. Yeah, and because see, you're seeing it not only through your eyes, you're seeing it through your partner's eyes too, and it's the same for them. They see it too. Now, when you have a perspective, your perspective is 100% you, but it's 100% them too. This is what makes it sacred. Yeah. So when you can understand 100 plus 100 equals 100, if you can start to understand that, that's a good sign that you have an idea of what Mahasani means. Yeah, that's the ultimate, I guess you could say. But I don't want to say ultimate because that's linear thinking. Yeah, I'll just say it's a beautiful thing that can happen. Yeah, and to make it happen, it just doesn't happen. You have to invest. Yeah, you have to do the foundation. The foundation begins inside of you. You have to be a healthy person emotionally, especially emotionally. Some people are healthy physically, mentally, and maybe spiritually, but emotionally, they just don't have it. And they end up with loser guys. Yeah. I see that happen quite often. Um, so it's important that you're emotionally healthy. It's very important, especially in this world today that's so incredibly dualistic. Yeah, it's really important. So you establish a good relationship with yourself by coming to peace with your past, coming to peace with your present, and this will help you to deal with difficulties in the future. And this helps you to stay in the present moment so you enjoy life as it's happening. Then you meet somebody who's the same way, you come together, you both think alike. You don't have to you don't have to like the same things. It's just that you have a similar way of thinking. That you both know how to handle difficulties. You both know how to learn from them, and you both really enjoy your lives, your blessings, and you both are really enjoying the relationship. You're both here in the present moment, the here and now, as much as possible. You're enjoying each other. Yeah? And yet you're still maintaining your individual identity at the same time. So there's no sacrifice. There's no sacrifice. That's really a false idea when people say that. Yeah, oh, I must sacrifice. When you get married, oh, you gotta sacrifice. No, 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 no. It's not that way. Yeah, you might have to adapt, but it's not sacrifice. If you have to sacrifice, then something is wrong with somebody. Yeah, you should be able to adapt, but it's a two-way street. Yeah, you have to talk to each other and find a way. But that doesn't mean compromise. Okay? It does not mean compromise. But it has to be based on something healthy. That's the number one thing. Okay? So, like for example, if a couple gets together and let's say the guy likes to play, or let's say he likes to visit pornography sites and she doesn't know it, yeah. And so they get together, and he's like, oh man, shit, I gotta sacrifice. I can't go to pornography sites anymore. That's not a healthy thing to begin with, yeah. So it's not a sacrifice. How can it be a sacrifice when it's not even healthy to begin with? He shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. Do you see what I mean? So I'm just pointing that out as an example. But this is how you begin. Yeah, this is how you begin, and you got to be a non-linear thinker. That's crucial. And then you can, you slowly enjoy, you just enjoy the relationship. When difficult things happen, both of you learn from it. Most likely your love increases for each other. Difficulties are part of the building blocks to getting to Mahasani, is what I'm trying to say. So if all you want to do is just, if you think that marriage or living together is all about happy times, you're living in a fantasy world. There will come difficulties, but you'll be able to solve them when you're healthy. Yeah, and then it's going to transform into a blessing, and you're both going to love each other even more. So you see, it's not a bad thing. It's just something you both have to talk about. You both have to learn from it and make the best out of it. Then it turns into a blessing. And that has to happen, to help you with, your relationship reaching this Mahasani stage, I could say. So it's just something to think about. I'm not going to force this on you, and I'm not saying, that it makes people better because that's linear thinking. No, it's just a sacred stage of development. But that doesn't make anybody any better than the other person, because you still have to maintain it. But when you have it, it's like your whole lifestyle automatically maintains it. That's what makes it sacred. Yeah? So it is a very beautiful, beautiful concept. And that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, it's a very nice thing. So anyway, just think about it. I'm not asking you to believe it. You don't have to believe anything I say, but I just ask that you think about it. Everything I said is based on Lakota Star knowledge, and I showed you the concepts, of which ones that they're based on. All these things need to happen. It all begins within you first, because reality begins within. Then like attracts like, and now you're beginning. Yeah, this is what you're designed for.